Welcome to Mornings with Megs, and welcome to another Friday. We did it, guys. We got through another week. I hope your week has been going amazingly. Welcome back to my Townsville studio here in far north Queensland. It is a stunning 20 degrees here already. I don't know. Either way, I'm made for this weather. So yesterday obviously took like a different turn to what was anticipated and what was planned, but in the best way possible. So having Nikki Ford on and literally I feel like trauma dumping on her for like an hour was just unreal. And just having somebody who shares experiences with you is just like I can't explain how therapeutic it can be, because I have the most unbelievable support network around me, right? Like I have my parents, I've got friends, I've got people who are just like solid, and I love them dearly, and I'm beyond grateful for these people in my life because I understand that not everybody has the circle that I do. However, when you meet somebody and speak to somebody who has gone through, and honestly to like a worser extent, to be like perfectly honest, she's gone through it much worse than I ever did. And again, I mean, my hysterectomy was keyhole, so like my recovery has actually been pretty good. And again, just to speak to somebody who, and God, this is gonna sound so bad, but like had it worse than me, like because in my I have never met anybody like who suffered like I have. So yeah, it's so nice to see somebody so successful who's been through what I've been through on even a bigger scale. So it is like renewed my I don't know, my excitement for the world and my excitement for kind of what I can create and what I can build. And something that she said a few times yesterday was like, we get to do life on our own terms. Like we get to do life the way we want to do life. It's not like it used to be where we would have to do life a certain way according to certain friggin' tradition. I mean, here in Australia anyway, look, other places might be very, very different, but I can do whatever the hell I want with my life. Okay. So it was, and I knew that, like, I know that obviously, but again, it's just a reminder, like, she is unbelievably successful, and she works with some incredible people. So she has just become my absolute inspo. So yeah, I hope that if you listen to that episode, you got a lot out of it. I know I did. And yeah, I hope you got to know me on a deeper level too, because I was very honest and very vulnerable and very raw in that episode, and I spoke a lot about my medical experiences, which I want to keep this short beat, right? Like I don't want this to be like a oh my God, look at all of the things that I've been through, I've had it the worst. Okay, because that's not me. I don't live from that space, but I do love sharing what has made me get to this, not made me, that's a bit rough, what got me to this point, and how if you don't have to deal with the things that I do, and we all have our things we have to deal with, but I just want to always be some sort of like beacon of light or inspiration or something that, even if it's just one person, it's just like, you know what, like she gave me that idea and I want to roll that now. Or like, I resonated with what she said in that instance. Like I want to try this, and, that's what I want. That's what I would really, really, really want for everybody listening. And that was literally the whole point of like what I applied for this show to do, was I wanted to inspire and I wanted to motivate and I wanted to like bring you the guests, that otherwise I couldn't talk to and pick their brains, because like who the hell else would speak to some random chick being like, hi, can you please give me some advice about this? Whereas now I have a platform and an excuse to be like, hey, come on my show. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm out of breath already. Jesus. Anyway, okay, so let's get back into the episode, because I have as promised yesterday, but we're doing it today. I spoke to financial planner Yiwa. She's an Adelaide gal as well. So, and yeah, her outlook on life is her outlook on money is wild, and I love it. And she gives us all types of tips, tricks, hacks, things to look at, particularly as women. Again, this is going to be another one for the girls, to really have a good financial understanding and good financial literacy, and a way to make sure that we are protecting ourselves financially for our future, which is very, very important to me. And should be important to you as well, so that when we hit whichever age it is that we retire, I'm not going to put a number on it, because I think for your desire to be retired by 40, I don't know that I would want to retire by 40. I mean, I'm happy to have all of the money that I would need to retire by 40, but knowing what I know about myself, I would get itchy pants and I would be like, I need to do something. So I would create another business, or I would launch a new something if I had the time and the space, because that's just how I do. So have a bit of a think about your own circumstances whilst she's speaking about this. And yeah, with whether you're employed or whether you're a business owner, either, she speaks into both. So it's just really, it's a really, really cool chat that we have. So without further ado, let me introduce you to and play you my episode, or my chat with Yua. Okay, maybe not. It is wild. This interview has just not wanted to work for me. Okay. You know what we're going to do instead? We're going to do this. We're going to do this a different way, guys. Where there is a will, there's a way, and I always have a way. So I just have to find that way for you right now. So I wonder if I go like this. And then I'm just going to play you the episode. Yes. I'm just going to play the episode like I'm presenting my screen, because this just does not want to work. Actually, this would have been a really good way to do this last time, but anyway, it's fine. Okay, I just want to make sure that you can hear it as well. Okay, here we go.
Have a bit of a taste in terms of have a bit of a taste in terms of when I was 24. So I've been through the financial crisis and everything, and I've got a very diverse experience when it comes to financial planning and how important, particularly being female, because I truly believe that I truly believe in eager to learn more. So that this is your future. Yeah, I love that. And that is so true. I think that when we sort of the typical when we
whereas now we're seeing amazingly, incredibly successful women in business and doing all the things. So I'm excited that, yeah, we're going to be talking. Interesting insights into sort of like surprises that people maybe don't quite understand. So you've yourself said that something that surprises a lot of people is that building wealth isn't about earning the six-figure salary. So let's talk a little bit about that, and then we can move into your money hacks.
Great. Thank you so much. Now, most people think that building wealth is about earning six-figure salary income. It's not. Over the years, I've met people from all walks of life. I've met with people that earn $60,000 who are financially secure. And I've met people earning $300,000, however, they're living from paycheck to paycheck. So the difference usually comes down to habit, not income. So today, I would like to share a few practical money hacks that every woman in their 20s, 30s, 40s, in fact, all ages, can start using immediately. Okay. Now, as we know that we all want to be better with money, but the truth is building wealth isn't usually about one big decision. It's about a series of small little habits that add up over time. So let's cut to the chase and talk about some of the 7 simple money strategy that anyone can use straight away today. So I'm going to start off with the first one. Let's start with the most powerful habit of all, paying yourself first. Most people save what's left over at the end of the month. Now, successful people do completely the opposite. Most people pay their bills, spend what they need, and then they try to save whatever that is left over at the end of the month. Now, the challenge here is that there's often nothing left to save. So instead of doing it that way, perhaps we can look at treating it like a bit of savings, like a bill that you must pay yourself. So perhaps you can consider doing something like set up an automatic transfer on payday. Even $20 or $50 per week, it can make a difference. It helps builds the momentum. When saving becomes automatic, you remove the need for willpower and create consistency. Now, the catch here is that don't save what left after spending, spend what left after saving.
Got you. That's awesome the way that you framed that, because like I've heard it and being having my own business, and literally the first thing that everyone says to you is make sure you pay yourself first. But when you're, either starting a new business or maybe your expenses are a little bit more than your income at the minute, it's like, well, how the hell do I do that? Like, let me get the stuff paid first and then I'll sort of see what I've got left. Whereas I love the way that you explained as well, like you treat yourself like an investment too. So even like you say, $50 a week, something like that can definitely have a snowball effect, right?
Definitely.
I absolutely love that. Okay, let's hear the rest of the hacks. I've already loved number one.
Okay, so now even if you're doing a great job in saving, there's another trap that can quite quietly undermine your progress, and it's called the lifestyle creep. Now, lifestyle creep happens when our spending increases every time our income increases. So, say for instance, if I can ask you, when you receive your pay rise, your bonus, your promotion, but before long enough, the extra money just disappeared.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you wonder, hang on a minute, where did all those money went? It might be upgrading your phone every year. It might be the extra subscriptions, Uber Eats, finding the convenience because now I'm earning a bit more, I can treat myself for this luxury convenience. Now, Uber Eats is a great example. Every meal costs a lot more than you cook at home. So people might say, oh, now I can afford, let's go traveling. Let's not do the economy class. Let's do business class, upgrading our hotel and everything. So don't get me wrong, none of these purchases are necessarily bad. But if your spending rises as quickly as your income, the danger is wealth becomes difficult to build. Very, very difficult to build. So therefore, the fastest way to build wealth isn't always about earning six figure. Sometimes it's about keeping more what you already earn, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you also hear this all the time where it's like, so you get that extra pay rise and then that means something about you. So you can now go out and buy this. And, oh, I've got the extra pay rise. Now I don't really, I'm not as mindful with spend. Like I'll just do a bit extra. Or it's almost like that financial reward for yourself where you're like, oh, I got to treat myself now because I've got the money there. Like that chews through money so quickly. And I guess the other part, because I'm a massive energetics person, like I love to, like the energetics of money. So I love to think like we're so, like say, you know, your salary's $80,000 a year, and then you get a massive bonus, massive big pay rise, and now it's starting to be $90,000 a year. You've obviously got that extra income, but again, you've gone the mindset of instead of reinvesting that extra 10K into something, it's like, well, I've got it, so like treat myself, go me.
Yes, self-love, right? We all do the same thing. We're guilty of that, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, I love it. All right, so we've talked about lifestyle creep. So what else have we got in your little bag of tricks there?
Okay, so now that we talk about the lifestyle creep, the other thing is, and speaking of spending quietly sneaks into our budget, let's talk about something that many of us are paying for without even realizing it. Audit your subscriptions. Take a look at your bank account statement or your mobile app, whatever it is. You might be surprised by how many subscriptions are coming out each month. I mean, in this day and age, we all are exposed to Netflix, Prime Video, Binge, Disney, Spotify, all the different apps and gym memberships and all these shopping memberships and things like that. All these individually seem to be small, but together they add up. They add up to hundreds and even thousands of dollars each year. So if your listeners are listening tonight, one of the quick fix is tonight, spend 5 minutes checking your bank statement, going through your app and identify any subscriptions you're no longer using. Always remember that's very important. You might be thinking that $10 per month is nothing, but hey, tiny leaks sink big ships.
I love that. Yes, so true. And where I feel like I get caught the most is like a free trial. Like I'm like, yeah, free trial.
That's
like
right.
I don't even have to pay for it. And then you forget about it.
That's right. And it's so hard to cancel some of the subscriptions as well. You got to be vigilant and alert all the time.
Yeah, they definitely, even obviously, again, having a business, you have all of the subscriptions under the sun. I've got my Canva, I've got my Zero, I've got kind of like, all of these different, my Google Workspace and all these different subscriptions. And again, you look at it and you're like, oh, it's $40 a month, that's okay. But $40 a month times, 10 of those different expenses, like, it adds up really, really quickly. So it does. And I love the subscription order because and I guess, do you have a bit of a recommendation like about when it's time to cancel? Like, is it like you haven't used that for a month, then it's time to kind of cancel it out? Is that your thinking?
To be honest with you, I'm not someone who watch a lot of movies and things like that, but I actually use YouTube a lot. I usually wait for something that when it comes like for free, then I look at it. So if you look at Spotify, you can still listen to a lot of music, a lot of podcasts, self-help and everything. LinkedIn is another one. Is it really necessary to actually pay subscription for that? So you might want to spend a bit more time investigating, doing your research. Is it actually worth for me to pay this? And the benefits that I'm getting, is that going to be relevant to me right now? Or how else can I market yourself? Being a self-employed business entrepreneur like yourself, you might want to sort of expand your marketing materials and everything. But you can also think of a lot of other free way of doing that. So unless it is absolutely that I need to, that's when I pay for it.
Yeah, I love that.
That's me. I'm a financial planner, so every dollar counts.
Yeah. Well, we could all be like this. We love and respect money around here. So let's make sure we're investing it wisely. And as you were just saying that to, something else that like came up into my head is like different subscription tiers as well. So, I find that I've accidentally not, I guess I just haven't looked at it close enough to understand that I'm on this plan, which is probably more than what I need, and I could actually drop down to this plan. So not cancel altogether, but still kind of bring it back to the level that I actually need.
That's right. It's just keeping that budget and living within your means. Because what we are trying to do here is that the more you save now, the quicker you start building your wealth. Your future is going to be brighter. I'm not saying that, cut corners and do all the really budget and you can't really live. And, I understand self love is really important. But what I'm saying is that just scale back a little bit so that we can build a better future. We can retire a lot earlier, we can sustain the lifestyle and do whatever we want to do. That whole, a nice car that you want, the luxury business class travel that you want, it will happen. It will happen. But it's just not right now. It will happen. I guarantee you it will.
Yeah, I love that. And if you can almost, because I call this generation like the Netflix generation, like everything happens now, like everything is
Yes.
on demand. You know, I guess that delayed gratification is a lot less of a thing these days, because if I want something now, I can go and get it now, and then that's it. Whereas if I have to wait for something, you know, we've become very impatient in like, yeah, waiting for things and kind of appreciating it down the road. So yeah, I love that, yeah, thought that like obviously it's all coming and it's going to be considerably less stressful if you do it while you're down the road, right? Because you've got these lessons behind you.
That's right. I find that a lot of the younger generation, because they want something so quickly and there's a need so urgently, the urge is there. But the thing is, a lot of them don't actually think a bit ahead. So I'm a bit old school. I'm always worried about money. I'm always worried about what if I don't have my job? What if I lose my income? You might be on a very, very good income right now. Having said that, if you don't do anything smart about it, things change. You may lose your job. There's no guarantee in life that you're going to still earn that same income that you're earning. What if one day you're not earning that level of income? What do? You don't have a plan B. In this day and age, you need to have a plan A, plan B, plan C. You just need to constantly adapt to new plans, saving for the future, and protect. Because we can't really predict what's happening in the future. We don't have a crystal ball. But hey, we can do something to protect our future, to have peace of mind and able to sleep at night.
Yeah, I love that. Well, speaking of future planning, I know your next hack is going to be something around super, right?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Now, superannuation. Don't ignore your superannuation, because your superannuation is one of the largest assets a person will ever own. Yet many people rarely look at it. So if I ask your listeners at the moment, do you know what super fund you have? Do you know how funds are being invested? How much fee are you paying? Do you have insurance in there? Now, if something happened to you one day, where the super fund goes? What else can I do with the super fund? Now, everyone who works in Australia is mandatory to have a super fund. The idea of it is for them to build that retirement savings. Now, when it comes to women, we especially, we can always experience things like career breaks, part time work, lower lifetime super balances. It's because we women, if you want to become a parent, you want to have a bit of a plan B. When you have your child, you go on maternity leave. A lot of us would have to, I hate to use the word sacrifice, but you have to sacrifice part of your career life because you got a family and we want to be with our family. We love our family so much. So we sort of already being disadvantaged on one hand. And what I'm trying to say is that look, just start tonight. Look into your super fund. Log in at least once a year because it's so powerful. The super fund balance. It is something that you will rely on when you retired. So check the details are correct. Review your beneficiaries. Know what your super is doing. If it's not working, do something about it. Seek advice. Speak to your super fund managers. You don't need to become a super expert overnight, but staying engaged is important to know that. Your future you will thank the present you. Trust me on that, right?
Yeah.
So it's really, really important to always, life doesn't always go according to plan, which is why, you need to always prepare for the unexpected and utilize whatever we have, to your advantage, basically.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, and again, I'll refer this being back to being self-employed, because I know that when I had, a job, I would have my regular super payments going in there. But truthfully, the only time I would ever check into my super is if I started a new job and they asked me for my super details. And then I'd have to go through my emails and be like, what's my login? Like, how do I get in? Like, what is my super fund name? So I found that now paying myself super is a whole other thing. And I'm not going to get into that because I'm still frustrated. But I think that, yeah, super is probably something that we look at now. And I also, I read a stat somewhere, I can't remember, like people have multiple super funds and they don't even realize. Like, that is wild.
That is because some people, depends on what sort of job you have as well. Some of the industry, if you're, a government teacher, then you have got a government super fund. And without realizing it, that some people may have multiple super funds. Now, there are pro and cons with this because if you blindly consolidate all your super fund into one account, the danger of that is that with all the different super funds, you may have got some insurance lying around. Yeah. So in the event of death, it gets paid out. Now, if you blindly roll everything without even knowing and doing all the research and analysis, you run the risk of missing out and ended up canceling all this insurance. So your intention thinking that one super fund is the way to go because you don't want to be paying multiple fees. But without looking into it every situation is very different. You don't just jump into conclusion and make a decision. You always want to make sure you dot all I's, cross all T's, think twice before we act. It is very, very important to do that. Obviously, I'm not going to give you any advice on this current radio station, but I just want to know that, people need to understand what they have, why do we have it, and what else can we do with it. So really, really do all your homework before you make any decision. That's really
Yeah,
important.
and I love that. And there was another thing which you mentioned earlier as well when you said what type of super fund you've got. And I got asked literally the other day, my mum asked me if I'm with a super fund that like invests profits, like if the stock market crashes, like there goes all my money, or am I in it? And I was like, I actually don't know. So I'm going to take this advice myself tonight and actually find out.
Have a look at it. See, the thing is that the danger of knowing a little bit and not knowing a lot can be quite scary. I mean, I started investing when I was 24. So I've been through the global financial crisis and all those things. So if you understand how investment works, when the market goes down, it's not necessarily a bad thing, particularly for people like us. I'm considered young too. So we are the accumulators. We want to buy things at discount. So we want to take advantage of the market downturn to our advantage, because we can't touch our super for like the next 20 odd years once you're like 60,
Yeah.
right? And legislation
Yeah.
can push it even further. So again, trying to understand how things work is actually a very crucial piece of information and knowledge. I always spend a lot of my time not focusing so much on signing my clients up, but focusing on educating them. Because when they understand, they're not going to get panic, and then we can go snowballing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it doesn't take much, does it? And I think what you said there is really powerful because it's like you know enough to almost be dangerous because you think you know
Mm,
what you got by the gist of it, but you might only have sort of
correct.
one side. So you kind of go into the weeds of it all is really important.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Cool. Talk to me about the life happens buffer.
Okay. So life happens buffer is what I like to call it, like creating a buffer for yourself. One of the best gifts you can give yourself is an emergency fund. Like I said earlier, life is so unpredictable. Even in your household, your washing machine might break, your dishwasher might break, your car might break down, the dog needs surgery, change of job, relationship ending, unexpected expenses appear. Suddenly, your business are doing so well, and being a self-employed, suddenly being hit with a big tax bill, health scare, medical costs unexpectedly. So if you don't need 6 months salary tomorrow, but even having $1,000 set aside, it can provide enormous peace of mind. An emergency fund gives you option and reduces financial stress when challenges arise. So an emergency fund can actually turn a crisis into an inconvenience.
Yeah, and I guess when you hear crisis, it's like the scary word. Whereas like obviously inconvenience is like ugh, like it's annoying, but
Mm,
and I can relate to exactly that. So I had a hysterectomy 6 weeks ago now. So yeah, just over 6 weeks ago. So even though I've got private health and all the things, like I think out of pocket, I'm probably up to about 8 grand. So that was like sitting there for my tax money. So now I'm like, oh, tax, whatever. So yeah, I can personally attest to how important it is to have those funds aside. I mean, I'm
that's
grateful that I
right.
did still have that, and then I was able to pay it all because I would have not having the surgery was not an option for me. But yeah, I didn't have that. So I think that instead of seeing it as like, hey, oh, like I've got to put this towards the future, I might not even need it. It's almost like a little bit of a safety net underneath you.
That's right. And some people, if they don't have a cash buffer, guess what they're going to do? They're going
Mm,
to redraw on their home loan. Now, we know that the interest rate is going up, and mortgage is usually a bad debt. And we're trying to pay it off. And because you don't have emergency, you're going to go and increase your debt again. So you're going to stretch you being in debt even longer, which is not really a very smart move as well.
yeah,
That's why I say
definitely.
starting a little bit, it helps. It really helps.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. All right, let's talk now about the 24-hour rule and what are the questions you ask yourself before buying.
I love this one. So, speaking of reducing unnecessary spending, here's a very, very simple trick that can save thousands of dollars over time. And I'm speaking from experience, mind you. So, using the 24-hour rule, we live in a world of one click purchases and instant gratification. I'm guilty of that too, right? But some of the best financial decisions happen when we slow down. So, if you are thinking of making a non essential purchase, ask yourself this: do I still want this tomorrow? Do I need it? or do I just want it? Now, my favorite two questions that I always use, even now, do I really want it? Can I live without it? If I can live without it, move on.
Yeah.
So often the urge passes and you realize the purchases was not that important after all. Giving yourself that 24 hours creates space between emotion and money as well. So give your money, your hard earned income, time to vote.
Yeah. Wow. How many times I can think of, like, even if I've ordered stuff and then something arrives on my doorstep, I'm like, shit, what did I order? Like, what even is that? Like, obviously, it wasn't that important to me because I'd forgotten all about it. So I am also going to try this one as well because I think, again, like, it's the instant hit of dopamine, right? It's like, yes, got something coming on the way. But yeah, did I actually need it? Probably not.
That's another $50 going away to savings, building your cash buffers.
Exactly. And in a few years' time, when I retire, that $50 will be better spent somewhere else. Okay. So your last one is actually my favorite. And we chit chatted briefly about this before we jumped on air. But investing in yourself. So tell me, why is that sometimes the best return you ever get, in your opinion?
This is actually one of my favorite. That's what I leave it until the last. Now, money isn't just about saving and spending. We all know that. So sometimes the best investment you will ever make isn't in shares and property and superannuation. It's invest in yourself. You got to be right. I did say invest in yourself. Often the highest return in investment you will ever make isn't financial product. It's you. So right now, if you're listening to this podcast, you are investing in yourself, particularly for women out there listening right now. So think about your future. Think about what do you want, how do I go about with this personal development. Enroll yourself to courses, get some new qualification, seek a mentor, ask for help. Your health, your well-being, career development, how do I progress into the next stage, learning new skills, learning opportunities. AI is a great technology at the moment. Everyone is talking about it. If you don't continue to learn all these things, you're going to fall behind. So you need to understand that market changes, technology changes, career evolve, but the knowledge, the skills, the experience that you build can continue creating opportunities for decades. And my personal view is that the one of the greatest gift you can give yourself is continuous learning. We never stop learning. And your earning capacity is one of your greatest assets. That is something no one can ever take away from you. It is so powerful. So if I can give a message to all the ladies out there, ladies, one of your greatest asset is your earning capacity. Keep learning, stay curious, invest in yourself. The world is changing rapidly, and the people who thrive are those who continue to adapt, grow, embrace new opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm truly in belief that we all need to do that.
Yeah, I am 100% with you. I think all the personal development work I've done over the years, like, even, I look back and I think I've always taken something out of it with me. And the thing I find the most is that I will be talking to someone about something and something will drop into my head that I learned from a personal development course that I did 10 years ago. But it came up at that particular time and I was like, this is just perfect. I love this. It's always, and it's interesting too. I did it. I think it was last week. I did just a literally bit of sort of like a side hustle kind of guide for women. So like the easiest side hustles to create to bring in a bit of extra cash and what is kind of selling out there in the market as well. And that has been one of the highest watched replays of any of the shows that I've done. So it just goes to show that I think we're all out there trying to, learn new things and develop a new skill and try and monetize our creativity because we have so much to offer this world. And, I use this one as one of my favorite examples to use because I can't pack. Like, I travel so much and I literally am the worst packer in the world. I would pay money if someone was like the packing expert because that is an investment to me because I would save money on oversized luggage and the stress that I go through when I go to the airport. Like, oh, they're going to slug me. You know what I mean? So we've all got these skills that we can definitely monetize as women and bring in a bit of extra cash for ourselves.
100%. I agree with you there.
Yay. Okay. So we've got all of our beautiful hacks now. So if someone is driving along listening right now and can only do one this week, where would you start?
I would say, look, this show is all about becoming your next version of yourself, yeah? So my challenge to everyone listening today is quite simple. Just be 1% better with money this week than you were last week. Okay, so start setting up that savings account, review your super, cancel the subscriptions you've forgotten about, start an emergency fund. Take one small step because financial confidence isn't built overnight, it's built through small, consistent actions over time. And the reason we want to do all this is to gain financial freedom. It's not all about being rich. It's about having the choices to, hey, travel, choices to change your career, choices to start a business, support your family, or simply able to sleep better at night because, hey, if anything happened tomorrow, I'll be okay. How good, how great does that make you feel? If anything happened, I'm prepared for it. Bring it on.
Yeah,
You know, that
yeah.
is really, really great.
That is really powerful. And I think we underestimate the power that that can have. Like, because if you think about why people want to be rich and why people want money, it's less and less about, the fancy car and the big mansion and all of the things. If you look
Correct.
underneath, it's that stability and that safety net and that kind of support structure where, you're not going to have to worry about living paycheck to paycheck and or maybe I can't afford that today, or being at the card machine and being like, I don't know if this is actually going to go through right now and things. So it's that safety when we educate ourselves like we're doing with you today, that brings us that security.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are not actually aware, some of the circumstances. I hate to do this. If, let's say, you're a mom and you got a 4-year-old and you can't bring your kid to the party because I don't have money. Now, that is the saddest bit. So, you want to, I'm a mom and I've got a young daughter, and I would love to take her out to go skiing and things like that because I never get this opportunity when I was younger, because my parents are always working, working, working. So you don't actually have, that childhood happy memory because everyone is so busy working just to give us a better life. And I want to do the same thing for my daughter. And it's really devastating when you see some of the kids just can't attend the party and can't do these extra sports because I can't afford it. I'm even teaching my daughter at 4 years of age. I said to her, Mommy needs to work. If you let me work tonight, tomorrow we can go out and do a little bit of a shopping and we can do a baby chino and a croissant, but mommy needs to work. So I'm
Yeah.
teaching her at that age now to start learn that money is not free. You need to be careful, need to make the right decision. Don't just spend for the sake of it. Have a good life now and then you struggle later, or struggle now and have a much better life down the track. I really
Yeah.
hope that your listeners gain something out of today's session because I'm all about helping women to become better financially, whatever it is. I feel like we women are so great. We are so tough. We are all tough cookies. Being a
Yeah.
wife is hard. Being
Yeah.
single and professional. Competing with all the rest of them is hard. Everything. So kudos to all the women out there who is listening to this podcast. Do something
Yay.
about it.
Exactly. Go and build those empire queens. This is what we are out here doing. I'm excited. Oh my God. Okay. I could literally pick your brain for hours, but I know that we need to wrap this up. Yeah, I just want to thank you so much. First of all, obviously, though, like it's super empowering those messages and just those simple things because we all want to, have more money at the end of the day and things, but like to actually understand what that means, like these tips that you are saying to implement are just so simple and practical that we should all be taking. Like we actually should make it as huge conscious importance that these are steps that we need to take to protect ourselves. And yeah, I think even like the last two, like with the 24-hour rule and sort of like, do I need the same active wear that I have in a different color? All of these extra things, which is just like, no, absolutely not. And instead, that $200 I was going to spend on activewear, I've just done a course on how to create your perfect wig with AI. You know what I mean? Like it's just the
Yes.
reinvestment of these funds, even if it's just $50 or it's whatever. I feel like the start is the part and then like you kind of snowball from there.
That's right. That's why it's very important for you to start small, like what you say. You start
Yeah.
building that momentum. And then once you start seeing your savings account started to go up, then you can think of the next stage of life. So now I've got 10 grand in buffer. What do I do? And every time when you get a pay rise, I'm speaking from experience, I'm still surviving on the same pay that I had about 10 years ago. Because all the pay rise that I get, I take it and I put on the mortgage and everything because I want to be debt free.
Yeah.
I'm very, very close to that. So you have to do all that so that now imagine if your pay comes in 50 or
Yeah.
that's why you need to when you're running.
Yes.
I'll give
Well,
you that.
yeah. Well, this could be the first baby step. And then next minute you want to pick you guys' brains across the board table and be like, what else can I invest in today?
That's right.
So how do our listeners find you if they want to chat a little bit more about some financial advice?
Give us a call.
Yeah, amazing. Yes, I loved the reviews on there because that's the first thing I look at, and I'm like, oh, like, give me the real life. Give me the real life goodness. Like, what am I going to expect when I walk into a meeting with you? Thank you again so much. This has been such a good session. I really appreciate you jumping on board and sharing all of your wisdom. Thanks, you.
Have a good one.
We'll put all of where we find you in the show notes as well, so you guys don't miss out and find out. And thank you again. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I did when I spoke to her, and it is actually the funniest thing in the world to like look at yourself do an interview like that. It's actually like crazily confronting. So that's okay. That is fine. It'll be fine. And I actually realized that when the edit came through a cutoff where you can contact you, so I'm actually going to put that back in. Because yeah, obviously that is important. We need to be able to see where to find her. Okay, now it's follow through Friday, and I have Mum standing by. Now I hope that she can see me because I cannot see myself and therefore cannot see her.
I'm here.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you see me?
No, I cannot.
Can you see yourself?
No.
Oh, okay. Just doing all the things this morning. It's Mercury in retrograde, but that's okay. I mean, I know what you look like, I guess, and you know what I look like, so we can probably.
Just make out we're talking on the phone.
Oh my God. Just like my ability to flounder with tech issues is just what. Can I just say, and as someone obviously who knows me relatively well, listening to myself actually lie in that thing was wild because I was like, I really do like the sound and the thought of not buying something and delaying gratification. And then going through my super was like such a good idea at that time, and going through my subscriptions seemed like a really good idea in that moment, and I've not done a thing about it.
I've actually written it on my notes here. Another thing we can do for follow-up Friday is check in on how your subscriptions are going and your super check.
Oh God, I just like I get so excited in the moment, and it's just really confronting.
Definitely in the moment, girl.
Yeah, it's so confronting to look at that and be like, oh, like, oh, yuck. Anywho, it's okay. It's all about the little.
We're all about looking at ourselves and improving, and you know,
Yeah.
each of those new little neural pathways that we can implant in your beautiful brain can start to, you know, get the things happening.
Yes, well, let's talk about that. That's exactly what we're talking about.
We want to talk about what happened this week first, though.
Okay, let's talk about this week first.
All right. So, what did you manage to do this week, Megan?
So, I spoke to a singing coach. Now, I have to tell you of the name of this lady because I was like, oh my God, if this isn't like the best thing in the world. So no, her name is Kim. And she's from That Sweet Roar, ROAR, like a tiger roar.
Oh yeah.
So, isn't it cute? I did the hand motion, but you can't see it. So it is. So I got my first singing lesson at 11:30 on Wednesday.
Nice.
And I've booked 4 sessions with her. So we'll see. I feel like after 4 weeks, I'll like work out whether this was like a cheap dopamine, well, not really cheap, but a cheeky dopamine hit, or it's actually something that I want to pursue because I enjoy it.
Excellent. So what surprised you? Anything?
Well, I think it surprised myself that I did it because I don't think if I was held accountable, I would have. It would have been just another thing that I wanted to do, but I didn't because, you know, time and life, and like I'm not in my own house at the moment too. So the thought of me doing this, I was like, I had to do it when the boys are at work because, well, one, Ayrton told me I had to, and two, I, I didn't really want to, do it when they were home anyway, because that was just a little bit too confronting for me, that
Yeah.
one.
What felt easier than you expected?
I think I'm glad that she was as responsive as she was, because like I wouldn't have probably have chased. Like I sent off an email and then I was like, all right, sick, like she'll get back to me. So yeah, I feel like that was just it's just doing its thing now.
Yeah. Anything felt hard about it?
No, not
Excellent.
yet.
So this is the important part of this process. So what are you proud of?
I'm proud that I actually did it, and that I actually reached out, and that I didn't do it last night in preparation for this morning's episode. That I'm actually probably the proudest of, because I literally booked this like 2 days after the episode. Like on Saturday, because I put that the reminder in my calendar.
Yeah.
And I actually, because I had my little arts and crafts day, like my little creative day on Saturday. And yeah, as part of that was actually reaching out to a few different singing teachers. So I actually did it after, and when I put a thing in my calendar to do it. So maybe that's my trick.
And that's really important to acknowledge that success, I think, because it does, because as we're going to talk about in a little bit, is, about neural pathways and about the way we think and our mind works, is that the unconscious mind loves to be able to grasp onto something because it doesn't like to change. So to acknowledge that is going to put it in a good spot that we can use that information again, or that feeling again, when we need to. Yeah. So how, on a confidence check, scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel about continuing next week and doing the lesson on Wednesday?
I mean, I'm 10 out of 10 because it's in the calendar. And I know that we're going to talk about this a little bit, but something we were talking about yesterday, which I actually couldn't stop thinking about after we talked about, was my ability to prioritize everything else above what I actually want to do. So I have basically, unless and I don't want to pray for a natural disaster, I don't want anything like that, but when I put things in time in for myself, because I work such long hours, I was going to take a 2-hour lunch break and go and just have time off during that time, but then instantly something would come up and creep into that time, and it'd be like, oh well, I'll just start that tomorrow. My personal time gets so pushed back and just takes a back seat to my business and my work all the time. So if you look at how my unconscious looks at that, I'm basically telling myself that I'm not really that important.
Yeah, I do remember when you first started your own business and your intention was to have Fridays off, and you used to have Fridays off, and then that kind of got lost quite quickly.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
that's right, I did too.
Yes. Let's just review the goal. So not to change it, but just to make sure that it fits. So is it still the right size for 4 weeks? You're happy with?
Yeah.
Needs adjustings, and your timeframes are achievable. Yep. So let's set to finish that off for this week. Well done. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
Let's set it one tiny commitment. So we'll finish off with one specific step. So what could you do? So some of the things that I come up with. So you could book the next class, but it sounds like you've already booked 4.
Yes.
That's amazing. Let's not just do one thing. Let's do them all. But
are you surprised?
No. But maybe you could spend some time practicing, because that would be a good thing, would it not?
That would be so
lesson. But if we want to build new pathways, we need to dig those trenches a little bit deeper. So let's if you're going to commit to it, let's commit to it. And maybe where could you put in 20 minutes to practice?
Well, that I think would be a great way to, well, knowing what I know about how good singing makes me feel, I feel like it would be such a fun little like midday pep up for myself. And yeah, I could just spend half hour every day just, and I assume she's going to
Every
teach me
day?
like,
Let's be realistic.
ugh, I don't like being realistic.
It's
um,
specific.
Okay, let's be specific. So outside of the lesson, which is on a Wednesday, I feel maybe like a day either side, because I feel like on a Tuesday I'm going to be super excited for my lesson the following day, and then I feel like on the Thursday I'll be excited for my like from the previous day. Some of that dopamine will still be rifling through my brain.
So probably the day after, because you'll probably learn something new every week, I would imagine.
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's do the day after.
Feel free to do it any other day, but
I
let's
will.
commit to at least that one day.
Okay, let's
Practice.
commit to that.
Excellent. Job done.
Yay. Yay. Well, do you know, I tell you, like, I actually can't tell you how, like, just listening back to myself talk in that interview and how many things I said I was going to do and that I had all intentions of doing. And it was very confronting to actually watch that back now.
Yeah.
Like, that is just, anyway, not to shame myself because I obviously have the best intentions. I just, yeah, just get excited and throw things out there and then forget all about it.
You do. Well, I mean, you're not the only one that does that. We all have things that we want to do and say we're going to do, and then we forget we're going to do. I live with one.
Poor Bill.
Gonna.
Poor Bill. She's not taking out her frustrations with her husband on the show.
Not at all. No, he's a beautiful man. He's a gunner too, but that's fine.
He does. Best intentions as well. So we were going to chat, like we don't have that long left, but actually just again something that came up yesterday which I forgot to tell you, because we're talking about obviously about like neuroplasticity and creating those neural pathways and understanding why when you try something new it's really hard. I want to give you, and this is like so TMI, so 1,000 apologies, but this is the best real life example I can think to give you today to the listeners. So I am obviously in Townsville at the moment for racing. Now, we are in the support category paddock, which is at the back of the track, and they don't have toilets there. Okay, they've only got portaloos there. Now, I know you really know where this is going. So I have like since my surgery had like issues with my bladder. Now, when I tell you those issues have now like tenfolded because my bladder literally refuses to go. Like I can't pee in a portaloo. It just like won't happen. So I have to walk my ass all the way over to the other side. I swear to God, it's like an 800-meter walk just to go. So talking about a physical response to a neural pathway, my body physically will not let me pee in a portaloo. And it's not just about me being precious. Well, I mean, it probably is, but I just genuinely cannot do it. Like Evan thought it was hilarious yesterday. I was like, I can't do it. So when you try to do new things, it's like, and it doesn't feel good and it feels icky and maybe it doesn't feel like you thought it was going to after the initial hit of excitement's worn off. Understand that is the block in your unconscious mind. Like that is purely either something that you've learned from your parents growing up or the influences in your life growing up from 0 to 7. And as you know, Mum, it can be like from even past life trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wild to me that as my 37-year-old, like this is still, and you know what, to be perfectly honest, I have no interest in overcoming this. Like if I have to walk 800 meters to go to the toilet, big deal. And if I come on a Monday and I've like wet myself or something, then you know it is what it is. But yeah, I think it's really interesting to see how my fear, I don't know if it's a fear. And when we used to go camping as kids and I used to make you drive me somewhere because I just refused to go. In the thing, it's wild. So I want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about your experiences as well, with something that you're I'm super grateful you're comfortable to sort of chat about. But like habits we get used to, and vices and escapes we get used to, in order to either not do the thing and avoid the thing that we know we want to do, but it just feels icky to do.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, I think with your toilet issue, I think, when did you decide that you can't? So I kind of think that it's a limiting belief in there somewhere. And then there's also the fear. So is it an emotion or is it a limiting belief? And that, you can work with timeline therapy on. So it's, I guess, when we're looking about when did we decide it, and how the unconscious mind works with that. Because once it decides something, then it believes it's stuck there, and it believes it's forever. So yeah, but in my experience, for what our unconscious mind, and we're talking about habits, and how our unconscious mind is about, it's not about making us, it's not to make us happy, it's to try and keep us safe and conserve our energy. So it wants us to do what it knows, or what we've done before, and which is not a great thing when you're trying to, like for me, for my addiction with alcohol. So I had, as you know, a very long journey with alcohol. So when I tried to change and wanted to change, desperately wanted to change, whenever a situation came up where I felt uncomfortable, I felt sad, I felt angry, I would go back. It would take me back to what it knew. And that's, again, no fault. It wasn't there to hurt me. It was trying to protect me, because it didn't want me to be uncomfortable. So as hard as I tried, many times, then it just, trying wasn't enough. I had to do other ways. And so learning about my unconscious mind was the best thing that I could ever have done, because it taught me that what I thought I knew, I actually didn't know. And so it wants to, so I guess what I did for me is that I created an alter ego called Genevieve. So when I had feelings of uncomfortability and feelings of cravings, or anything that wanted to bring me back to out of my comfort, back into my comfort zone, I would see Genevieve sitting, you can't see me, but I'm showing my mind, sitting on my shoulder, almost like a cocky, or just a voice in my head saying, it was, do this. And I would just stop and go, stop. This is not today, Genevieve. You're not, thank you for trying to keep me safe, but I don't want to be here anymore. So I kind of separated it, which really helped it. It separated from me, so I didn't take the blame. I didn't feel the guilt. I didn't feel the shame. It was this part of my unconscious that wanted to keep me small, so that it felt comfortable, because it feels,
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing to take away and understand, and like same deal, once I understood this, it was like wild, is that even though consciously you hate it, like you hate that, or like you just, you don't want to do it, and you're like, no, I don't want to do it, this is not for me, like, but when your unconscious is 95% of everything, it's so hard to battle when you're only kind of going to battle with the 5%, It's like why willpower and motivation and stuff like that is like so little part of it, because when the motivation runs out, unless you've created those new neural pathways and continually and repetitively doing it, because like at the core of us, we're like super basic humans, right? The more we do the thing, the more the thing becomes easy to do, But
so if you imagine, it's like, I guess building a new neural pathway is like a grassy paddock. So the first time you walk across it, you might create a faint track, but if you walk the same route every day, the path becomes clearer and flatter, and it becomes easier to take that route. But it'll also, and I heard you say, about remembering something that you've learnt, a while ago from the self-learning courses and stuff that you've done. Same thing happens with habits. They're there, and they will, and I call it the sneaky bitch. She will at times try to drop in And even 5.5 years later, like I still get reminded she's still there, and I have to consciously work. No, we don't do that anymore. We do this, and sit with the feelings. That's one thing that's really important, is to not avoid it. We tend to, the flight, fight, fear, and fawn, fight or fight, fear, and fawn. But it's, if you can sit with it, name the feeling, be with the uncomfortable, it really does pass a lot quicker.
Yeah, it does. And I could talk about forever with this, but I have a driver's briefing to get to. So we're going to leave it there. But I want to talk about this more next Friday, because like this is like I think this is the thing that people just don't understand, why things just feel so hard when and you, like you said, I think the thing that people avoid is sitting with that feeling, because that feeling feels shit. Okay, it's not always, well, it's very rarely a good feeling, right? That's why you're trying to change it. So the power of being able to sit with a feeling like that is like you become unstoppable once you kind of remove yourself and understand that that is what it is. Sit with it. It'll pass. It always does.
Yeah, and it'll be really good to talk about, I think, the unconscious mind, maybe self-sabotage, building the new neural pathways. And if you want to relate it back to money, there's, there is evidence there that it's of why we think about money and feel about money, because we do. So, let's chat about that.
Let's do that. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, everyone. See you Monday.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.